Good morning, everyone. It's time for Monday Musings again. Seems like I've only been getting enough time to do these about every other week lately. Got a busy year coming up, but I'm going to try to get them weekly, but if not, then bi-weekly. This past weekend, I attended an event called Crop for Cancer, or Crop Out Cancer, that's what it is, but sponsored by the Happy Scrappers of Greencastle, Indiana. It was a 2-day event, and proceeds went to benefit cancer research. And I won a prize there. I won this artfully sent Cricut cartridge, and I've been playing with it ever since I got home on Saturday evening. Had to go to granddaughter's birthday party, had lots of fun with that. Went to see the movie Home, lots of fun, cute movie. And then when I got home, I started playing with this, and I just couldn't quit. So I thought I would share with you some of the things I've done. This was a package. It came with the cartridge, and it came with 3 sets of stamps. This one is like individual letters, and this one is some, curlicue frames is what it's called. And this one is called Alphabet. Okay. And then this one is the one I've been using a lot of. And let me put it here so you can see it. And this has all different types of sentiments on it. And it's some of it's really tiny, but it's a really clear font, and they're really nice stamps. This is all by Close to My Heart. And this is an entire package. And it also came with a pretty thick package of paper. And this is called White Daisy. It's 12 by 12 sheets. And as you can see, it's quite a thick package. And that came with it as well. And so that was just a really, really nice prize. I bought 6 tickets for $5, and I won. So I wanted to show you some of the things I did with it. I just started playing around late last night. And here's one of the cards I made. Let's see. Let me find this. Page 14, I remember. Okay, so it has 2 booklets. One booklet that shows you the cuts that you can make. Let me find the right page for again. Okay, so this shows the different cuts that you can make from this part of the cartridge. And I made this one right there. And then you have another book that shows you how to put it together and where to make your folds and things like that. So I experimented and cut all the little different butterflies out in a couple of different colors. And then here's the pop out. So when you open it up, then the butterfly pops out. And I put a few butterflies in there too. And I used pink and green. That's one of my favorite spring color combinations. And then I also used one of the curlicue frames to stamp on. And then it says, "Just because I'm thinking of you." And then on the inside, it says, really tiny down here, but it's there. It says, "Wishing you the best." And this card came out smaller than I expected it to. So I've had, you do some experimenting and you figure out which is the right size for the card that you want to do. So the second one that I did was this one, and I increased the size on it. And so that came out more of the size of a card that you would normally send to someone, make someone. So that's how I figured that out. And I was using 8.5 by 11 paper because I have a lot of solid cardstock in that size. So I just used I think I made this to be 8 by 10, something like that, on the mat on the Cricut Design Space, and then this is how it came out. And I did this on a Cricut Explore Air. I just got it last week, and I've been doing a little playing with that as well. So This one is also a pop-up, and it comes out saying Bloom. That's page 38, I believe. Let me find that. Nope, it's page 42. Okay. So there's the instructions for how to put this together. And then on page 42 in the booklet, then it shows you this card and then another card as well. There are two cards on this, and it tells you what to cut for each choice of card. And there are also envelopes to cut as well. But it was late and I didn't feel like cutting envelopes and measuring them things last night. So I thought I'd put this together with you real quick. So I cut out the base of the card. I used one of the Curly Q stamps. And I hadn't decided what sentiment I wanted to put in it yet. And then I used a stamp from Stampendous that is also those same kind of wildflowers. And I did some experimenting, and I really like the tone on tone. I can't remember the name of this color, but it's kind of it's an orange yellow sort of. And I used Dandelion, Wendy Vecchi's Archival ink, to stamp these. And I did some more experimenting. Over here I put Memento bamboo leaves, but I think I liked it better with just the tone on tone. And I will probably cut this part of it out again. It's just the rectangle, or measure it and cut it with my paper cutter, and then stamp again and not put the green on. I just didn't like what the green did to it. So then the other piece, it cuts out like this, and it cuts the bloom part out, and it has the pop-out platform for you, and you fold this in and this out so that it folds this way. You want to use your bone folder, get your creases right, and then I'm going to put this in here. So let me just go ahead and put some adhesive on. I need to put a little bit, kind of move it around there. And then I want to put some here, but not on this, not on the cutout part, okay? Alright, so you want to make sure that you have things lined up the way you want them to be. And then you're just going to lay that in there with about maybe 1/4 inch. And I'm using repositionable tape so that if I get it wrong the first time, I can pick it up and move it a little. Okay, so now you have this anchored, and this is not. So let's go over it with our bone folder one more time. Get a good crease. Okay, whoops. There we go. Now the next part is the jar, and I cut this part of the jar out of. It was dark last night, and I didn't have real good lighting, so I was thinking I was getting another pale yellow, but it was actually kind of a really, really pale pea green. But I was okay with that because I thought it was nice to have just a little bit different shade right there. So I want to adhere this, and I could put it in my Xyron and it'd be really easy, but I don't want to adhere the top part. So I'm just going to take my quick dry adhesive and just very sparingly, and that's where I said I didn't want to glue it. Okay, very sparingly put on some glue here. You really don't need much. And I could use the adhesives that come in a pen, but mine is out right now, so I'm using this instead. And let's see if I've got a little paper towel handy. Well, I did have, don't now. So I'll just use my finger. Okay, so I'm going to put this down on the jar. You could also, for this top part that says spring, this top part of the jar, you could also use some clear plastic, like some packaging material, or some of the clear things that you can get in the computer stores. I'm trying to remember what they're called. But anyway, it's clear sheets of paper, clear acetate. Okay, so I still have this open up here. So then I'm going to attach this to here. So I'm going to put my glue. I'm going to go ahead and use this permanent glue. Going to attach it right there. I'm going to put it in place, and then I'm going to fold this down and press so that I can get good contact with the glue. And when I lift it up, it pops out. Okay? Then our last thing to do, and I don't think I'm going to adhere these, is I'm just going to slide these wildflowers or dandelion flowers down in here, into here. And let's see, I'm going to use one of my palette knives to kind of lift so that I can pull this in. This is why I only put that glue on there sparingly, because I wanted to guide these flowers down into the jar. Okay, and then there's glue on that one, so that will hold it if I want it that low, which I don't. Okay, so I'm just going to slide these in the top. It cuts two, but I lost one, and then, well, you know what? I put that on upside down. Oh my gosh, look what I did. See, this is why you need to pay attention to what you're doing. So before this glue dries, let me just pull this up. And change that. Seems like I can't make a video without making a mistake, doesn't it? Alright, so let's push this down again. So check that out before you make the mistake I did. The little part back there is kind of where I made the mistake, is hidden, so not to worry too much. But if you're giving this away and are worried about that, then you could cut a tiny little piece of this paper and just stick it back there to cover it. And we'll put the last flower in, maybe. So anyway, the reason I have 3 of these is because I cut the 2 out that it cuts out when you do the project. And then I lost one, so I cut another one out, and then of course I found the first one, so I decided to just go with 3. So it looks like I need a little more glue on this side. And you can arrange those as you wish. Then I'm just going to put a touch of glue right here to keep that from falling out the side, and then you want to make sure that dries before you close. So now I've got some things hanging over, so it's okay to just kind of push those in, close it up, and then your recipient can push them around as they see fit. So anyway, I'm still practicing. So there you go. And then I also took that same stamp from Stampendous and stamped over here in the bamboo leaves. And I like it on this light. I just didn't care for it over here. And then you can put any of those sentiments on there that you wish. Here's one that says hello. And I'm not going to go ahead and stamp it yet because I'm not sure what I'm going to use this card for. So I'm going to just leave it this way, and then I can use it for whatever card I want to. Okay, I've got one last one that I cut out last night because Mother's Day is coming soon. And this one is on page 38. And there are two mom cards there, one with a nice big pop up, and then, where to go? Oh, okay. Let me come back to this book. Goodness. All over the place today, aren't I? Okay. So page 38 gives us that pop-up one that this illustrates, and it gives us this one. Now there are not instructions for how to put this one together, so I cut it out. It's really only two real simple quick cuts. It's this one that says you're the best, and then this one that says as the mom kind of cut out of it. So I was trying to figure out how to do this, and I didn't want to bend it all up, so I went back and I got some scrap paper, and I cut it out again and fooled around with it until I figured out how to do it. So let's see if we can do it without messing up the one that I cut. So we have the paper like this with the mom cuts on this side on the short edge, right? And then we have this side, and we're going to stick it on. Like this, leaving that little 1/4 inch border. And this paper that I use, it's basil, and it's got some bumpy polka dots, so I thought that was kind of cool. And then this one is like a linen texture. Okay, so we got that so far, right? So then the next fold we make is right here where these two meet. So I'm going to fold this right here. Get my bone folder so I can make a clean fold. So you see that's right up against it. Make that clean fold. And then let's come back here. So then our next thing is to fold back on the center of the mom to make the M's, make the parts stick out. So this one is where it gets a little tricky. And I don't have the scoring stylus, so I believe that it would be helpful if I did. But I know that I have to meet this end right here. So I'm going to start my fold there on that end. Pull that one down. Nail that one down. And then up here, I've got to do the same thing. I've got to have these meet. So I can do that. Alright. But now I'm going to come back here. Let's see. Make sure I did that right. There we go. Now I have to come back here and pull these out. Yep, this one's a little bit hard and I haven't quite figured it out yet. Let's see. I know that the O goes down. Goodness. Okay, so maybe I don't, okay, there's my problem. I have to go beyond this edge, because I know that I have to pull my O back far enough. Okay, here we go. That's a good place to start, is the O. Alright, and then this part comes back in. Yes, it would be a whole lot easier if I had the scoring tool. So that's why it's always good to have a practice sheet. Okay, there's that. And then you want to keep this here, because this points out your M. This gives your M the dimension right there. And let's get the last fold. And that right there. Okay. Now we're getting there. So, yep, this is one you want to practice on paper first till you get it, till you've got it. It's a little harder to do on cardstock. And so there's that one. And then I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to stick down my O. I'm going to stick down this part. And this one. And then I believe that it would be a good idea for me to stick down that part as well. Let's just leave that out there. Okay, I'm going to stick down this part too. We're learning together, guys. And there's probably some close to my heart consultants out there that could really help me out on this one. Because I'm a visual learner, and I really struggle with things like this. But my other cards were pretty easy. This one was a little bit difficult, and so maybe I could have picked an easier one. But anyway, here's what I got, and I hope that you will maybe try this cartridge out and try some things out, and visit with me next week or the week after. Have a good week. Bye.